Hello friends, this is Mrinal Sarkar. I'm currently working as an assistant professor and also I am a civil service aspirant. This lecture on current affairs is different from others in the way that I have made it very concise and also an easily understandable format with informations which are collected from various newspapers and other sites. Also I've written down it in my own handwriting so that it becomes easy to follow. I just hope my handwriting is legible to you. Also, I've started a playlist on geography, which you may go and check it out from my name in YouTube. I'll be uploading it on a daily basis, and if you like this video, kindly like and subscribe. So yeah, let's get started with this. So we'll be talking about the current affairs which has been covered on the 12th December. And here the first topic which we'll be covering on the GS1 is about the Maharashtra bill on sexual crime, how the various abuses on women and children is causing a lot of problem, and how what type of bill has been proposed. And we'll also be talking about the droughts which are not only caused by El Nino but also some other factor. And in GS2 we'll be covering about the 7th schedule, where we'll be talking about the various types of union list, state list and concurrent list, and how a new reform has been made or is being proposed to make. And we'll also be talking about the Justice Jain Committee. I'm sorry, here I've written it Justice Committee twice. It should be Justice Jain Committee. Here we'll be talking about how a frame-up case has been made against an ISRO scientist. And last but not least, we'll also be talking about the exotic species and how this exotic species may create a danger or pose a threat if it is kept in a place which is not native to them. Okay, so let's get started with the first one. I hope this is eligible, and I've tried my best to make my handwriting as legible as possible. So here we'll be talking about a Maharashtra bill which is named as Shakti Act 2020. How this bill is particularly important for women and children. Sorry. Now, recently, or you may say a few years from now, you might have seen various cases in the news where those accused of rape, gang rape, they easily get bail and they do not get any kind of imprisonment and they do not get any kind of punishment. So particularly for those type of accused persons, like in case of rape, gang rape, rape by persons in authority, and acid attacks, which is very important. So this bill has proposed death penalty for such cases. And there is also an additional law which has been proposed for social media, which falls under section 354E, that is abuse of women on social media. I'm very sure most of us know what type of abuses which women face every day. It can be like threatening of uploading photos, videos, and violating their privacy. So in such cases also there has been an additional law under this bill, that is the Shakti Act 2020, to safeguard the privacy of women, to safeguard the women and children as a whole. Now there has also been various kind of false information and implied consent. Implied consent is nothing but it is doing something without informing the person concerned. So sometimes in various cases you will see that a person is being defamed by giving wrong information, by giving false information. So in such cases also there will be an imprisonment up to 1 year, or it can be a fine, or maybe both, imprisonment as well as fine. So this bill, this Maharashtra bill, basically it tries to safeguard women and children as a whole. Now talking about the droughts caused by El Nino. Here it is said that not all droughts are caused by El Nino. Now in the El Nino years, out of 6 out of 10 droughts in the El Nino years are not caused by El Nino. So what can be the other reason which causes droughts in India apart from El Nino? First of all, let us see what El Nino is about. Now El Nino is nothing but it is the unusual warming of the central and equatorial Pacific Ocean, due to which it reverses the trade winds which comes towards India. Now, because of this reversing of the trade winds, we usually get warmer winters and summers, and also it also leads to decrease in rainfall during monsoon. And due to this decrease in rainfall during monsoon, drought occurs. Now, we see that here the droughts are caused by, how drought is caused by El Nino. Now, there is also another factor which causes droughts apart from this. Now, that is the atmospheric disturbances from North Atlantic Ocean. Now, how does this happen? The resulting wave of air currents from North Atlantic Ocean, this resulting wave of air current is called as the Rossby wave. This wave, it squeezes in the Tibetan plateau and then it hits the Tibetan subcontinent. Basically, it does not allow that wave of air current to come into the Indian subcontinent, and thus due to this suppression, due to this squeezing of this air current into the Tibetan plateau, it suppresses the rainfall in India. This again leads to drought in India. So we see how, apart from the El Nino, droughts can also be caused by the atmospheric disturbance from the North Atlantic Ocean. Now, coming to general studies 2, we'll talk about the 7th schedule, how there has been a fresh look has been proposed at the 7th schedule, and this has been done by the Finance Commission Chairman N.K. Singh, and he calls for a fresh look. Now, talking about the 7th schedule deals with the division of powers between the Union and the states, which falls under Article 246. And this fresh look, or you can say, this requirement of modification is necessary because so that it gives more flexibility to the states, so that the states do not feel inferior to the union government, and also to reinforce trust in federalism. I'm very sure we all know what federalism is about. It's nothing but a system of government in which the same territory is controlled by 2 levels of government. Means the same particular state or maybe the same particular territory is controlled by both union as well as state government. So in order to bring a kind of trust into the federalism, this thing is required. A fresh look is required at the 7th schedule. Now, talking about the 7th schedule, the 7th schedule has been divided into the union list, state list, and the concurrent list. And in case of union list, these subjects are mostly, the decisions are mostly made by the union legislature alone. In case of state list, they are made by the state legislatures, and in case of concurrent list, they are made by both union and the state list. But in case of a conflict, the union legislature will take care of the decisions. Now, let us see some of the subjects which are included in the union list, like defense, atomic energy, foreign affairs, war and peace, and so forth and so on. And in state list, we have the agriculture, police, prison, local government, public health, land, liquor, trade and commerce. And in case of concurrent list, we have the education, transfer of property, other than agricultural lands, forest, trade unions, etc. And apart from all this, we also have some kind of residuary powers. Now, residuary powers are those powers or all those matters which are not mentioned in any of this list, that is union list, state list, and the concurrent list, like talking about the cyber laws. Now, in this case, only the union legislature alone has the power to legislate on such type of matters. So it is very important to have a fresh look, a new modification on the 7th schedule, so that the states do not feel inferior, and secondly, so that we can have a trust in the federalism. Now, the next topic which we have is about the Justice Jain Committee. Now, this committee has been constituted by the Supreme Court in 2018 for the frame-up case of 1994 against ISRO scientist Nambi Narayanan. Nambi Narayanan was an ISRO scientist, and there was a frame-up case against him. He was being defamed in a case which was in 1994. He was accused of passing on documents and drawings of ISRO to Pakistan. The documents which are related to Viking, Vikas engine technology, PSLV flight data and drawings. So he was accused of such type of data and drawings of passing on to Pakistan. Though the Supreme Court has dismissed the case, Mr. Nambi fought on to bring his accusers to justice because he felt that his career was smothered. Now, if we talk about the technological aspect of this one, there is one important thing which Mr. Nambi was working on. He was working on the cryogenic engine technology. Cryogenic engine technology is basically the use of rocket propellants at extremely low temperature, and this technology offers highest energy efficiency. So this is something which we can learn about the technological aspect from this committee or from Mr. Nambi. And talking about the facts, India has been ranked 6th country to develop cryogenic engine after USA, France, Japan, China and Russia. Okay, coming to the general studies 3, we have the exotic species and how few owners will be granted immunity. Now, talking about exotic species, what are exotic species? Exotic species are those species which are not native to the ecosystem or environment. Like those type of animals which are not accustomed to a particular environment. Now, you cannot bring a rhino in your home and keep it as a pet animal, because it is a wild animal and its native place is a jungle or a forest. So it has to stay there. So those type of species, there has been a regulation. There has been a regulation which has been made by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, which says that the owners to declare exotic species owned to the government between June and December 20, which means the owners of such exotic species has to declare their possessions over this species, which has been done illegally or legally between June and December 20, and if such owners do that, they will be granted immunity from investigation and prosecution. So it is a form of granting immunity to them if they declare their possessions of exotic species. Now, this is necessary because of the various zoonotic diseases which may spread from this exotic species. Owners may not know about the various diseases which they can spread, and it can infect the whole society as or community as a whole. So in order to stop that, this thing is required. Also, to keep an inventory of exotic species, exotic live species under CITES. CIT is nothing but it is the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. It is an international agreement between governments to ensure that international trade in wild animals, birds and plants does not endanger them. Basically, the trading of animals and plants does not endanger such animals, plants or birds. And the exotic species, it is covered under the appendices 1, 2 and 3 of CITES. However, it does not include from the Schedules of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Now, the few exotic examples of few exotic pets in India are snakes, tortoises, civets, snakes, basically the coral snakes, civets are like a form of cats. They look very much like a cat, lemurs, etc. So this is all what we have for today's current affairs. I'll be uploading current affairs on a daily basis. I'm sure this has made it much more easy because I have simplified each of them and made it very concise. Because if you are bogged up with too much information, you might get it might be very difficult for you to remember each of them. So I have made it very concise, and so that it becomes easy for you to remember each of them, each of these topics. If you like this video, kindly like and subscribe so that you can have a look on the upcoming videos. Thank you.